Every trader has experienced emotional trading at some point. So you sit down at the charts, you are trying to follow your trading plan, but then all of a sudden you start making silly mistakes. You start getting into runs of very poor trades and your losses start to mount up. By the time it's all over, you kind of sit back and you think to yourself, what the hell just happened? But by then it's too late and you've done untold damage to your trading account. Now, once that happens, you think to yourself, okay, I let myself down there, I'm a bit of a loser, I'm a bit of an idiot, but I promise I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to be disciplined. And then a few weeks pass, maybe a month, and everything is going pretty well. But then one day, it all falls apart again. The emotions come back, you make those mistakes, you do huge damage to your trading account. You wipe out all of the profits you made, and maybe even more. It's kind of like a vicious cycle. When this is going on, when you're trading emotionally, you're using the wrong part of the brain. You're using the part which houses the emotional responses, the limbic system. The thing is, your broker understands this. So it's no accident that when you log on to your charts, they are very colorful. And there's lots of different sort of things that you can add. There's lots of things to stimulate your attention and to draw you into the charts. Because the broker understands that if they can grab your focus, if they can hold you there, there's a very good chance you are going to start using that troublesome part of your brain. You're going to start turning emotional. You're going to trade more. You're going to make more mistakes. You're most likely going to have more losses. And when that happens, the broker makes more money. It's almost like they try and create trading on your charts like it's a computer game. So you get super focused and you get super drawn into it. The thing is, that is the worst way to be when you are trading. In order to combat this, there's this kind of general belief or this general thinking that you have to kind of have lots of different things going on. Maybe you think you need a PhD psychologist sitting next to you whispering sweet nothings in your ear. Every time you start to become emotional, he starts to get the book out, the Freudian book, and start reading you passages telling you how to calm yourself down. To combat the emotional trading, there are some very simple things that you can do. It doesn't mean it's easy, but it is simple things that you can start to implement which can have a very powerful impact. One of those things is something that I do frequently. It's designed to draw the energy away from the limbic system to the front of the brain. The front of the brain is where things like critical thinking happen. When you're thinking critically, it's a lot less likely you're going to make those very silly decisions because you're looking at it in a completely different way. One of the best ways I have found to do this is to force yourself to think critically. Now, how do you do that? So you've been sitting at the chart for a couple of hours, you're starting to get frustrated, you're starting to get bored, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, there's something setting up here, I'm really tired. Is it a good trade? Is it not a good trade? I'm not sure. I'm just going to take it. And that kind of triggers you into a trade. And when it's a mistake, that is what kind of cycles into the emotional trading. One of the things you can do is you can use the word why. You can ask yourself the question, why? Because when you ask yourself why, it demands an answer. It demands that you use critical thinking. So when you've been sitting at the charts, when something looks like it's going to set up, I ask myself, why is this a good trade? Why is this a bad trade? If I then get into the trade, I ask myself, why am I doing what it is that I am doing? It's all designed to kind of pull me back a little bit from the tunnel vision that's staring at the charts and forcing me to start using that frontal area of the brain. Because before you get into a trade, you can quickly get drawn up into, oh, I don't want to miss this trade. Is it a good trade? Is it a bad trade? Once you get into the trade, you can then start watching, the little counter that goes up and down, profit or loss. And when it goes into loss, you start to get this sense of dread. And you start to think to yourself, oh my God, this is a stupid trade. Why am I in this trade? When it starts going into profit, you start thinking to yourself, this is fantastic. I'm such a good bloody trader. What I'm going to do is let this profit run even further than I planned because it's such a good entry. This is your emotions talking. This is you, very likely, making silly, stupid mistakes. When this is going on, you simply ask yourself why. You force yourself to answer the question. Why is this a good trade before you get in? Why is this a bad trade before you get in? And then you weigh it up. You make sure you are making a decision which comes from critical thinking rather than emotions. When you're in the trade, why am I doing what I'm doing? You should have the plan of what you're supposed to be doing in the trade. If you start to panic or if you start to get greedy, simply asking yourself, why am I doing this? Forces you to sit back and think, okay, this was my plan. Why am I now telling myself that I should change this plan? Very, very simple method of changing. One of the other things that I do, it's also very simple, but it has been very effective for me over the years, is that I have an A4 piece of paper that I have printed things out on. And I make myself read this every single morning before I turn the charts on. Because when you get up and when you're ready to trade, very often you're a little bit tired, you're a little bit groggy. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, I don't really want to sit at this computer all day watching the charts. On this piece of paper, I have things like, first of all, it tells me to forget whatever happened yesterday. So if I had a good trade, if I had a bad trade, it doesn't matter, it's gone. It tells me not to allow what happened yesterday to come into today. I need to trade like it's the only trading day that I have. It also reminds me why I am trading. It has things like, this is a business, this is my job. I love this job because of the freedom it offers me. It allows me to provide for my loved ones. And by reading these things, it kind of gets me into a different frame of mind. It tells me, you know what, I'm tired, I'm groggy, but it's very, very important that what I do here is I work like a professional. Like I treat this like it is a job. It also helps me if I've had a loss, not to bring that loss into today. Because what I used to do was I'd have a loss and then I'd try and make the loss back in one trade. And I would do this over and over and over again, rather than simply following my trading plan. I'd think, oh, but I had the loss, I'm just going to hold on to this one. And it would usually end up in another loss, or a break-even trade, or lots of break-evens until I then got to a loss. So by reminding myself that today is a new day, it kind of resets my brain. It puts me in a more positive frame of mind. It puts me in a more professional frame of mind, because I understand that it's very easy for my limbic system, for the emotions to come forward. So I'm building things around me to help combat that natural human instinct. So some sort of note that I read in the morning, I highly advise that you do that. It's very, very useful. And then simply using the question why to force yourself to think critically. Hopefully, those two things will benefit you as you move forward as a trader. If you have any other things that you use, things that you have found very beneficial, you can let me and everyone else who is watching this video know, because it is one of the most crucial things to overcome as a trader. Those are two of the main things that I use. Okay, so as always, I hope that was helpful. I hope you all have a fantastic trading week, a fantastic trading month. I'm James Orr, and thank you.